I look back at the failures of my life, even in my adolescence, even, not getting good grades in elementary to thriving on National Honor Society and Dean's List in college, which I would have never guessed in elementary that I would have gotten those good grades in high school and college because I was not smart. I was too I was too energetic. I was too loud. I couldn't sit and pay attention. I was always doodling on the side of my notebook instead of taking the right notes. I couldn't retain things. Welcome back to the What Went Wrong podcast. I am your host, Tabatha, and today I'm going to do things a little bit differently. We are going to tell the untold stories of bouncing back from failures that we had in adolescence. Yes, adolescence, the scary time for all of us. We all had failures, right? And what better way to start this off and throw myself under the bus and just share some stories with you that might uplift you. And you might be asking yourself, Tab, why are you sharing these stories? Like, what is this going to do except for humiliate yourself? I want to give you, the listener, a perspective of maybe what your kids are going through, or bring back some things that maybe you went through that might be holding you back. Maybe they're, stifling you from growing into your business, into your talents, your gifts, whatever you're called to do. Because a lot of times we want to bury and forget the things, the failures that have held us back. And we think by not allowing it to come to our memory, it's like it's gone, right? Like we're just going to forget about it. But the problem is we have things that we have done in the past that if we do not forgive ourselves, if we do not remember and learn and move forward, they will hold us back. So if you're someone who feels stuck or frustrated, or you're in a failure now, I just want to open your mind just a little bit and just give you some clarity on moving forward and what that looks like for you. And so for me, I was not amazingly talented athlete or super smart. I was not like gorgeous, pretty thin. I was actually pretty chunky. I thought that dyeing my hair this awful blonde color was going to make me special. And I longed for significance. I longed to hear the audience, chanting my name. I was yearning for the accolades. I wanted to do something great. I just honestly just wasn't great. I had a mom who was sick, a dad who worked a lot, and siblings that had their own lives. And it just kind of left me feeling, mediocre, inadequate. And I had this desire at a really young age for more, for a life bigger than where I was. And I didn't know how to reach that. And so in adolescence, like I said, I struggled with finding my place. And, I do the sports and I'd come in last, or I have this awful picture of me running track and I think my face is just like this. And I just would try and try and try. And I just seemed to fail over and over and over. And the epitome of that came when I was a junior in high school and I loved volleyball. I loved it, loved it. And I remember my coach being like, you made varsity, but kinda. Like you kinda made it. You got to share the jersey. And I was a junior. And all my friends, my best friend was like a starter for this varsity team. And I had worked so hard. I had put in the hours. I ran sprints. I did extra workouts. I did all this stuff. And at the end of the day, it wasn't good enough. And I remember feeling just completely destroyed. Like this was, when you're in high school, those are the moments. Like I just remember feeling like I'm not good enough. My best is not good enough again. And I'm not worth it. And I don't know what to do to make that. And I don't know what it was inside of me that kept going, who just, because like the rebel inside of me wanted to just be like, screw you guys, I'm going home. Like, I'm not even going to be on the team. But I desired so much to do my part, to have the victory, to have the accolades, to have that achievement. And I tried so hard and I wanted it so badly. And so I kept going. And I kept training hard. And I remember I was in my senior year and I made varsity, but I remember more than that, being a leader on the team and having all of my teammates over for a slumber party and having team dinners and feeling like a leader, like where I was supposed to be. I might not have been a starter and I might not have been getting the accolades of, all the kills and the hits and the serves and the aces and all of those things, but I was leading a team. And that was the first taste of leadership that I had. And I I was inspired by that. And I think that little spark, even there, like when I was 17 years old, is what has kept me going for so long. Because I look at a lot of other things too. Like I tried out for cheerleading. If you guys watch my social media, my daughters are in competitive cheer. They love cheer, and that is like literally all of them. But I really chuckled to myself because I tried out for 3 years to be on our high school cheer team, and I never made it. And guys, I was just as cheery then as I am now, and I didn't make it. And I remember that moment when I didn't make it going into my junior year and just feeling defeated and like my life is over again. In high school, we dwell on those things, but again, it was a moment of somebody else telling me I wasn't good enough. My best wasn't good enough. And that was hard. It was hard back then. It's hard, for teenagers now when they don't get it. But what was great about it was that I learned from that, and it taught me self-determination. It taught me self-discipline because I didn't have to have a coach to tell me to go run extra sprints. I just did them. I didn't have to have a coach to tell me to do extra reps in the gym because I just did it because I wanted to be better. I wanted to improve myself. Now, for a while, it was proving myself. I had to prove myself. Was there a moment in your life where you had to prove yourself and maybe you're still trying to do that? So, there was a lot of amazing lessons that I had to sit in. And for me, it was faith. It was God. It was sitting in that moment that I felt like I failed. And again, in hindsight, I look at it and I think, oh my gosh, that was so ridiculous. But in the moment, that desperation, that pit of not being good enough, not being able to provide what they needed for me to be on the team, that feeling, just transport that 20 years later can come up in business. Like, I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough to get the likes. I'm not good enough to get the business, to make the money. Oh, it must be me. And it's like, no, that's not what that was meant to be there for. It was meant to teach me something, whatever that was. Maybe I wasn't good enough. Maybe I needed to practice more. Maybe I needed to have more reps than I was doing. Maybe I was focused on the wrong things. Maybe I was running sprints in volleyball and I should have just been doing like 100 serves. Maybe I was focused on the wrong thing. And looking back now, even though it's hard because that was a really hard time in my life and I wanted to blame everybody. I wanted to blame the coach. I want to blame this. I want to blame that. But really, maybe it was me. I was focused on the wrong thing, the wrong resource. Are you somewhere right now that you're in a failure or what you think is a failure or in a desperate time, and really all you need to do is focus on one little shift, 1 degree shift, changing your focus so that everything accelerates? Because I guarantee in volleyball, if I would have shifted my focus, because I was in the gym and I was lifting and I was doing sprints, I was doing the things I could do, and I was serving, and I was hitting, I was doing those things too, but maybe I wasn't doing them in the right way. Maybe I was, not reaching out to the right people, the right coaches to help me. I was definitely not about the who back then, like who could help me advance. It was all about how can I? And if you guys have heard me talk in any social media, I talk a lot about Benjamin Hardy's book, The Who, Not the How, because I needed a who to teach me how to accelerate my volleyball career. And I just tried to stronghold it and do it myself. And now I can look back now at that and say, yeah, that's where I missed the mark. So I'm always trying to, with my girls, tell them like, who can help you reach your goals, whether that's in cheer or volleyball or basketball or track or wherever they're at. Who can help you get there? It's not just about how you can do it, but who can help advance you to that. And those were lessons in my adolescence that they were hard at the time. And I didn't have any like mentorship, or we didn't have social media. Like, social media gets kind of a bad rap, but in all reality, social media can be so amazing for our youth because there is so many positive, inspirational people. And that's really you know, what I want to do is help our youth, help the adolescents realize that the struggles that you're going through, the challenges that you're going through right now, they are your world. And that's okay because that's where you're at right now. But looking at them with a different perspective and looking at it like, you got knocked down, how can you get back up? In another podcast I did, we talked about the song "Standing Outside the Fire" by Garth Brooks, and in that there's a mentally handicapped boy, and he wants to run this race, and his dad's kind of against it. Like, no, he doesn't want to do it. His dad's a very hard man, and the kid does it anyway. And during the race, he falls. He like has a big fall. If you guys haven't seen the music video, go and watch it. It's awesome. But he falls in this race, and everybody comes to coddle this boy, and the dad comes and he runs and he says, no, you will not touch him. Do not touch this boy. Get up, son, you can get up. And he makes his son get up, and his son crosses the finish line. And looking back, it would be hard. My parents, I know it was hard for them. And I know because we've had conversations that they really, struggled with watching me struggle. And they wanted to blame everybody. And they saw the hard work I was putting in. And I was doing hard work. I will give myself grace there. But there were things I could have done differently. And there were things that would have advanced me in a more positive way if I would have cut off the negative energy that I had at that time. And now, even in business, even at 38 years old, I am like, oh my gosh, I don't want any sort of negativity. I want to cut it off because that will hold me in the failure. That's going to hold you in the failure. I mean, my adolescence was anything to be desired. I mean, I had a lot of like great friends and family, but the failures of, not making the cheer team or not making the varsity volleyball team or fighting with my basketball coach because, again, I was right and he was wrong, right? In reality, I was not good at basketball, by the way. My stubbornness and my, unwillingness to allow other people to help me, it really held me back. Now, those are things that have advanced me in certain areas, but there were a lot of stuck and frustrated moments because of it. And it was all because I had this deep desire to do more, to achieve more, to have more accolades, to be significant, to help other people. And I have had that desire since as long as I can remember. But I look back at the failures of my life, even in my adolescent, even, not getting good grades in elementary, to thriving on National Honor Society and Dean's List in college, which I would have never guessed in elementary that I would have gotten those good grades in high school and college because I was not smart. I was too wiggle. I was too energetic. I was too loud. I couldn't sit and pay attention. I was always doodling on the side of my notebook instead of taking the right notes. I couldn't retain things. And in high school, I kind of got my groove. And really, honestly, that was probably more of an achievement. Like, I just wanted to achieve. I just wanted to get good grades to achieve something, to say that I could do that, to be significant. And even to this day, I really struggle with learning things that I'm not passionate about. I really, it kind of goes in one ear and out the other. It's kind of like speaking, a foreign language. But when I am passionate about something, when I do love it, I immerse myself in it and I love it. But back then I didn't. I failed like miserable. I don't even know what my elementary report cards were. I mean, I know it was not good because when I got the invitation to be in the National Honor Society, I remember I thought it was a joke. I thought it was a joke because I was like, my grades aren't good enough. And in reality, I subconsciously had been doing that so that I could get good grades and do good. So all of this, I'm asking you, what did you go through in your youth? Is there something that you went through that was a failure, or even maybe in college? And don't even get me started with college. I mean, there was a whole list of things in college that I did wrong, that I failed at, that I took the wrong leap, I took the wrong class, whatever. Like, there's so many wrong decisions, bad decisions. The failures stack up. But one thing I always had was everything happens for a reason. And if I can just find a lesson in it so I can grow from it and learn from it and propel forward in it, then it will be worth it. Because the failures truly are what bring you to the greatness. The failures that you're in, and if you can teach your kids, if you're listening and you're a parent and you can teach your kids to fail every day. I remember Sarah Blakely saying this. Her dad would ask her every day, what did you fail at today? What did you fail at today? And that is one thing that we are working on with our kids, is like, what did you fail at? Where did you feel uncomfortable? Make your kids feel uncomfortable in the safety of your own home, so then that you can be there to gently catch them and give them a perspective shift, not to coddle them, not to tell them that blame other people, let them take ownership, but let them be uncomfortable, let them fail in your home before you send them off where they're going to fail. And teach them that failing is what will get you to achieving, what will get you to your goal, your desires, what you're meant to do in this kingdom. This is the journey. But it's like, for so many people, we're like, oh, first place doesn't matter, or, everybody gets a ribbon, or we coddle them, or it's their fault, it's this. No, teach them the lessons of failing and taking ownership, and if they want to change it, what they can do, and moving forward so that it can lead to the what went right, so they can tell their story about the failures without feeling debilitating anxiety or debilitating depression. So many people right now, we're labeling all these things, and it's because we're not equipping our kids to fail and what that means and how to react to that and respond to that and move forward in that. And for me, I just kind of figured out, but there were moments of horrible anxiety and depression because I didn't know. And there's always this still small voice. It was God speaking to me in it, like, keep moving forward, find the light, find the happy. You are this and you are that. And I bless that for your kids, but not everybody can feel that. And you need to be that. Or maybe you need to go back to your own adolescence and look at it and think, where do I need to forgive myself for the failure, for the doing wrong, the oops, I shouldn't have, so that I can go forward in my blessings and abundance. Where can you do that? Where in your life, where in your adolescence went wrong? What went wrong that you can take ownership and say, you know what? I could have done better. I could have shifted my perspective. I could have asked for help. I could have put my pride down. And maybe the result would have been different. But it's okay, because I'm exactly where I'm meant to be right now. But I can forgive and move on. So you can walk into the destiny that you were supposed to have, which is abundance and blessed and everything that you desire. So that is the episode this week. A little different, a little quirky, a little, outside the box. But I wanted to share this with you because it's been on my heart. And I really want to help, our youth, but also the families unite and heal and move forward into their blessings, into their destiny, which is not scarcity and doubt and fear. And we push that aside and we go into abundance and joy and legacies and wealth and all of the things. So remember, your what went wrong as an adolescent is what led you to what went right in adulthood. Until the next episode, bye for now.